I'll give you the first little sneak peek at the new Tinny. Check this little weapon out. New little 4.1 creek raider. A little bit worse for wear at the moment, but we're going to do it up. Little Facebook marketplace buy. So got a bit of welding to do in the bottom. We've got to touch up a few things. New floor. Might put a few things up the front, maybe a little cast deck. New trailer. Righto, well, it's been a few weeks. We've got the Tinny, but it's time to finally get into doing some work on this thing. So I've got it stood up just out of the way at the moment, but let's have a look at the bottom. So the last owner's hit something here. Done a bit of a, I don't know, that's probably what my welds are going to look like in about 2 days time anyways, but that's all right. So we've got one there, another little patch job here. See, they've tidied that one up. So I've got 2 of those to fix. There's another one up the top. You can see there's a few little dents up there. So one more patch up there. Gonna tidy up a little bit inside as well. So come under here, have a look. So you can see it's pretty bare. Plan is that we need to fix this one, this weld here. You can see they've done a touch job on it. Fix that one up. That one's not too bad. Couple on this side that are looking pretty shabby. Couple little cracks here that I've just got to slightly fix up. Put a floor in there, floor in the very top, and then down the back here might build in a couple little fuel tank mounts. That's the boat, so a couple little cracks to fix on it. I'm just about to head round and pick up our marketplace buy on new trailer. This one's not good. It's not good at all. It's pretty rusted. A-frame has completely snapped off it, so I'm gonna have to weld a new A-frame on, but I've already got the steel and stuff ready to go for it. It's currently a tandem axle rocker roller suspension, and it's casted. It's had it. It's bloody seen better days. But what we'll do is we'll completely rip it apart. We're gonna grind off all of the mounts, flip it upside down, put a few new cross member supports in it. Gonna extend the drawbar on it, put the new drawbar in, beef it up a bit, go to a single axle, full 50mm square axle, some new springs, and Bob's your uncle. So currently I'm in for about 300 bucks. So 100 bucks for the boat, 200 bucks for the shitty trailer, but I'm probably gonna spend, limit's about 2.5. So for 2.5 grand, I'm hoping to get out on the water with a boat and a trailer. Motor is up in the air at the moment. I'm a little bit skeptical what I'm going to put on it. I have found a new, a second-hand, new to me, second-hand from someone else, Yamaha 40. So that's kind of ballpark what we're looking at. Let's go pick up the trailer and I'll show you just how bad this bloody thing is. It's not good at all. Righto, here it is, all its glory. You don't want to see how we bloody got this thing here. It's an absolute, I can't even show TV how I got that here because it's so dodgy. But let's have a look at the damage. So fair bit of rust, all of the axles. So the axles are pretty rusted out, but we'll rip those out. Same on this one. So axles are coming off. These things, guards, they're gone. Rollers, new rollers. You can see in the corners here we've got a couple of cracks in the A-frame, and then up here. So I think that should be down there, but anyways, we won't look down here. It was a mess. It's a mess, but it's a start. 200 bucks. So remember, we're in this for 300 bucks. All it's gonna cost me is my time in labor. Rip it out, cut it up. So first things first is cut this out. Cut the drawbar out. I'm probably just gonna plate the A-frame. There is a couple of cracks in there and stuff like that, but I'm gonna plate around the sides of those to help reinforce that. New drawbar up to this main swing arm. So I'll put a new winch bracket on, new winch arm, and then I'll see how I go. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to cut some of these cross members out. So the cross members, fingers crossed, aren't actually that bad. Well, not as bad as I thought they were anyways. So we can rip those out, not too bad. Last but not least, it's just got to get rid of the bolted in sort of subframe, all of the suspension. Get rid of that rocker roller suspension, go to a single swing, single leaf spring and axle. So rip those out. One, I got to, obviously because I'm changing from dual back to single, I'm going to have to play around with where the center axle is actually going to sit weight wise. I am extending the front drawbar as well, just so I get a little bit more reach. You can see at the moment, doesn't help, you know, I've lost 30 centimeters of drawbar there already, but you can see that my my tires are going to hit if I keep the drawbar at that length. So I'm going to extend the drawbar out a little bit further. My boat is a little bit shorter as well, so we're going to bring that winch arm back probably a meter on this main drawbar, so it'll sit up on top here now. Boat will sit up on there real nice. A lot of work, but also saves buying one. I did price just to get a new one. It's really not worth it up here because, you know, this is going to get bashed across red dirt roads for the rest of its bloody life. It already has been for its entire life, so the poor old girl's going to get a birthday, Dulux rebuild, and then we're going to get straight back into it anyways. But let's get into it. Let's get some of this done. Righto, well, I just ripped the main hitch off the front. Tried to undo these bolts here, but I couldn't get them undone. They're too far gone, too rusted, so ground them out, grind them off. Just have a look how much rust. This is what salt water does, right? It gets in under everything and just corrodes it out. So all under here, all the salt water being sitting under there has completely eaten this base plate away. All this rust, all the internals. The guards are off, started stripping it all back, but this is the new drawbar. This is going to be the new one, it's the old one. See the size difference, so we're going with, what do we got? 120 versus what was 75. So 120 by 8 mil for the drawbar. Cut that out, plate this, so I've got some new 90 angle there, again 8 mil, suit the front. So we're going to put some plate across the top of here, some of that angle alley across the top to reinforce around the sides here, along to the front where the drawbar is. Drawbar is out. Got the new one ready to go. Just going to mark 45 on these so that slides in. I am going to have to compress this in a little bit, so 45 on those, weld that in. I'm not going to show you exactly how I do all this because I am agricultural as bloody all buggery. So I'm not a boilie, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not nothing. I literally make it up as I go. So I'm not even going to bother showing you how I do it because all the keyboard warriors are going to jump on and tell me I'm doing it wrong. It's hot as all ball sack out here at the moment. I've got bloody sweat dripping off me everywhere. It's about 38 degrees. You poor little fan working overtime up there, but we're getting through it. It's going to take me a couple of weeks to slowly just chip away at it. I'm going to get a bit done this weekend, and then I'll tick through it over the next sort of week or so as I get new parts and stuff come through. I want to get some mud guards and the axles and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to get through the bulk of it, try and get, you know, the bulk of the A-frame, the main drawbar, get the tow hitch and everything back on, and then I can chip through bearings, axles. And then I'll once I rip all the sort of undercarriage off, I'll flip it over. Once it's flipped over, I'll weld up the new hangers, and then I'll weld the springs in. So, righto, well, we're back into it for day 2 now. First on the list, we've got the drawbar going in. So as you can see, I've got a bit of a gap here. So I've just made a nick here. Going to heat the outsides, bend them into the drawbar, tuck the drawbar in. So it's our new one. And then after that, we're going to attack the back of the trailer. So let's get into a bit of heating, welding, get the drawbar on, and then we'll focus on the back of it after that. Officially got the A-frame welded in. I'm gonna weld this old plate over the top of there just as a bit of support. So the front is all but done. I just got to finish off a couple more welds, but I did just rip around. I got another Facebook Marketplace buy. Missus, couple of mates have been flat out on Marketplace looking for bits and pieces and parts for us. So now we have a new subframe. So this one's off another old boat trailer. The axle's a little bit far gone, but the main frame in itself, the skids, and probably the springs and hangers. So I'm probably going to steal this whole sub hanger frame, the springs, put under that one. Get rid of the axle, get rid of the rest of it. I don't really need that. I'll use that subframe, mount it in under here, so the new wheels will go here. And then really all I need is a new axle. So new axle, new bearings, and I'll upgrade the hubs as well. I'm not going to run these little 12-inch, I think they are. I don't even know what size they are, little 12s. I'm just going to go straight to some 285s, which is massive. I run 285s on my last little tinny trailer, and it does make it difficult to launch from a normal ramp. 285s are huge. It just lifts the boat so far off the water. I know some people that run 285s just so that they get that little bit more clearance. I'm just running it purely because I run 285s on the cruiser, I run 285s on my ute, so I've got plenty of spares. Not too sure which rim I'll run yet. I don't know whether I'll run the Ranger 6-stud or whether I'll go 5-stud to suit the cruiser. I've got spares of both, so not really sure which one I'll run yet. We'll wait and see. Once I get it, I'll see what type of hub I can actually get in stock, which one's cheaper, and I'll just run that one, because really doesn't matter what stud pattern I run on the trailer. It's just going to be a little runabout. It's not like we're going to drag this thing across Australia. Well, that's our reinforcing plate over the top, so it's just a little bit of reinforcement there. One more to go on this side, that side, and down in the corners. It's bloody hot. Righto, well, it's knock off time now. I didn't do too bad today, considering I have absolutely zero idea on what I'm doing. I know nothing about welding, I know nothing about metalwork, but we're here. So got the reinforcing on the A-frame, I've got the reinforcing all the way around the side to the back plates. So I've got to do the other side yet, but that's enough for today. Poor old shed's looking like a bloody bomb site at the moment. I'm normally a pretty OCD person, and I like my stuff in a particular spot. As you can see on this side, I color coordinate. That's hurting my head this morning, so I think before we get into anything, I'm going to do a bit of a clean up, try and tidy up some bloody tools, because I don't know where anything is at the moment. I've all just thrown crap everywhere. So on the list today, we've got to finish this side off, folding it around, then we're going to rip the suspension out. So not going to waste any time, let's get straight into it. It is 8:45, so I'm about to wake the neighbours up on a Sunday with a grinder, but that's alright, I'm sure they'll love it. Sweating like a bloody gypsy with a mortgage, but we're done. Plated up, all down the sides. That's the A-frame done. I've already started on the back, so ground the bolts off these because they're too rusted. They just completely had it stuff. So the second bit of trailer that I had, I've ripped the axle out from under it. So now I'm left with just this frame and the spring hangers. I'll grind this tyre guard that the fellas had. I'm gonna grind that off. That's going to be the new frame that I bolt up in the center. So that's our new frame. Other one's over there. What I'm going to do is rip this back out, flip the trailer over. I've got probably 4 welds left underneath that I've got to do that I just can't weld when I'm can't weld upside down. You probably can, but I can't. Other than that, we're about halfway there. Get that upside down and get the leaf springs out. Then it's really just a matter of bolting the new springs up underneath there. Once the new springs are under there, I just got to piece everything back together. So we've got to put the hitch back on the front, put the winch arm here as well. Once we get the winch arm on, then it's time to I'll just sit the winch arm on. Sorry, I'm not gonna weld it down or anything. I'll just sit it on there, get the boat on top, and then we'll position it, try and get that weight toe ball ratio somewhat right. Obviously, I'm not going to have the motor here to sort of get the bulk of the weight on the back. I'm sort of just going to wing it a little bit with that. That was a bloody mission, but I'm there. Upside down, a couple welds to fix here. A little bit of surface rust on the top where they were mounted, but we've got the subframe out. So what I'm going to do now, because I don't have the axle just yet and I want to keep this thing rolling, I'm going to use this axle to put on there. So I'm just going to strip all of this off, use that axle on this frame just to keep me rolling, and then we'll start working on these things. I've ripped the axle out of that one. I actually pulled the leaf springs out of that other, or the rocker roller springs out of that other one, and they're probably better than the ones I was going to use. So I'm just going to quickly rip these ones out, chuck them ones in. Got the axle rolling. See, it's pretty had it. That's alright, I only want them so that I can flip this trailer back over and keep continuing working on it while I wait for my other axle to come in.
What are you doing?
Well, g'day. I've skipped a few steps on the videos here, but we're almost there. Trailer is now all painted. I'm just putting the new axle on. The axle got lost in transit, took almost 8 weeks to get here. I'll give you a bit of a close-up video of what the old axle looked like with the little 14-inch rims. We've now gone to 265 tyres on this thing, jacked it right up. All the fronts welded on, we've got a jockey wheel, we've got an A-frame. Everything's on, ready to go. And we picked up a motor as well, so we're nearly there. The only thing left to do now is fit out the boat. Check out these few little clips I'll roll through of the new bits and pieces I've added. This trailer originally started as a dual axle. I cut it down. You've seen all that. This is what we've changed from. So that was the original tyre. This is the new one. So we're running the 265 on the 16-inch rim. These rims suit the big boat as well, so that anytime we need to change or swap or do anything like that, all our rims are going to be the same from now on. So how's this butt? Look at the size difference in these things to those. So that's the size difference in the tyres. That's going to give us that little bit more when we let them tyres down on the beach. That's going to give us a little bit more footprint. Make sure we don't get bogged. Righto, so I've actually gone with a 50mm axle on this one. The old one was about a 35mm, I think it was. Quite small, light duty. Just going heavy duty on this purely because of where we live. It's way overkill for the trailer. It's only a little single axle trailer, but because of where we're going, what we're doing with it, I just went as heavy duty as possible. So we've got 50mm axle with mechanical brakes. I don't need electric brakes or anything like that. It's just one more thing to go wrong. Mechanical brakes to the front. Going with parallel bearings just because we run parallel bearings in all of our trailers. It's so much easier to swap and change them out on the side of the road. So I'm just going to quickly rattle these up. We've just centered the axle to the trailer. Tighten all this up. Once that's done, we can pretty much put the boat back on and start adjusting the roller heights to suit. The only thing I've got left to do from there is put some mud guards on over the top of the tyres. We're ready for the first launch.
Might need to fix the holes in the boat first.
A lot of people won't like a long drawbar. They'll say I should have kept it shorter, all the rest. I went with the long drawbar because we're going to be beach launching this thing every second weekend. Didn't want to build a beach launch bar like we've got on the big boat, something similar to this. So instead of just having a nice short nose on it, I've gone real long on the drawbar so that when it pops up under here, I can do a full right angle with the canopy on the back with the tyres, and the nose of the boat will still have clearance on the canopy off the side. So it doesn't matter if I get hung up, jackknife, I can do whatever I want, and I know that the boat isn't going to hit the back of the canopy. And we're not only going to be running this trailer on the cruiser either, we are going to be running it on the Ranger as well, which the Ranger overhangs the back as well. We've got the new canopy coming for the Ranger shortly. It's set up exactly the same as this, so we're going to have 2 spare tyres overhanging that back tow ball mount. I may or may not have overdone it on the axle. I went a little bit wider than I should have. I didn't have the exact measurements when I was putting the order in for the axle, and because of that I now overhang quite a bit between this and the trailer. So there's about 160, 170 mil gap on either side. It's not going to be ideal when we're on the beach. It's going to be outside our car tyre track, so it is going to want to sort of fishtail and keep trying to choose a track to run in. I did go that wide because I went the extra size tyres so that it doesn't hit the bottom of the boat. So the boat's going to come through. When the boat sits up on top, the boat's going to sit in here. So the boat's going to be able to sit up on these and still have clearance on the tyre, as well as have a guard here. So you've got to remember the guard's going to sit here. So I've lowered the boat supports and the rollers down as low as I can here. They kind of sit just a little bit proud on the top of the tyre. But then I've got to get a mud guard on top of this as well. Once I get the mud guard on top, I've got to have that clearance between that and the boat. So we just finished welding up the subfloor in the bottom of the boat. We welded a couple of cracks that were in the bottom as well. That's all done. The bottom's been tigged up. It wasn't the best because it was so old, brittle. As soon as we started tigging, it was cracking, spider webbing out from each one. So we've done the best we could with that. Hopefully it's going to hold up. We haven't water tested it just yet, but we will. Subfloor's done. So now I'm on to the next step, which is the fit out, cutting the floorboards, carpet, and then the electrical fit out. But I'll show you through how we've actually gone about cutting the floor out. So what I've done is I've used cardboard because it's easier to work with than ply. Big long lengths of cardboard, set it up in there, mark it all out, marked all my boards out, named them, sat them down on a piece of ply so I could work out which one was going to work best with what. And then we've come up pretty much with this floor plan layout. And then the next step from here is pretty much to quickie grip everything. So we're just going to glue it all, put the marine carpet around over the top of it, staple it all down, test fit it back in the boat just to make sure everything fits, works. Just remember, carpet is about 5 mil either end, so you've got about 10 mil depending on what thickness of carpet you use as well, that you've got to allow for in those edges, corners, things like that. This is the first time I've ever done a boat internal fit out, so there's a couple of little tweaks that I'm making along the way as we go. I'm trying to put some hatches and bits and pieces in the back corners as well. We kind of left those out when we were welding the subfloor in. I did know I was going to do them, but I didn't want to spend too much trying to get the subfloor right. I was going to do the rest with the wood. So let's get into gluing this stuff up and get it back in the boat, and I'll show you once we've got it all laid out in the boat. And that's it. get it in the boat, see if it fits. Hey, how's that?
Like a glove.
Like I bought one. Now we've got to do the back. I still haven't finished the front yet. I'm just doing, I run out of plywood. I actually needed a lot more than I thought. So I've used 2 full sheets just to do the back deck and this center floor piece. I'll probably use another 2 full sheets to do the front. 4 sheets, 5 meters of carpet, and 2 liters of glue. 5,000 staples. Let's keep going. Well, while we're just putting the floor in the boat, I thought I'd give you another quick view of our newest little power pack. So this is the EB70 from Blue Eddy. Little power horse power station. There's so many of these floating around at the moment. About 2 or 3 months back, we were looking for one for our East Coast trip. Instead, we just couldn't find the one that suited us or was right. So we actually took the generator away with us, which then meant I had to take fuel. The generator weighs around, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 kilos. So that's 50 kilos in the generator and a 20-litre drum of fuel itself in the boat. It's big, it's bulky, it's heavy, and it takes up a heap of room. The guys at Blue Eddy actually reached out to us and asked if we'd be interested in using one of their products, giving a bit of an honest review. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're test running the EB70 at the moment, and it's an absolute weapon actually. It weighs like 9 kilos. You can throw it around everywhere. We take it around in the canopy with us. It's good, we can power the fridge in the canopy. The main use for us is just powering camera gear, right? Like we don't really run too much else. In the big boat, we've got the fridge already running off the 2 main lithiums and the solar input. So this is just for camera gear, which we plug our GoPros into. Got the wireless charger for your phone in the top as well. It's got 2 240 outlets, which have up to 1,000 watt. So you probably can't run your coffee machine off this thing, but you definitely can charge Milwaukee batteries, GoPros, drone batteries are the main thing for us. Got a 12-volt cigarette plug as well, so you can plug in like spotlights and things. So we'll use this in the new Tinny boat when we run out and we do night missions and stuff. We'll be able to plug our 12-volt spotlight in, see where we're going as well. Pretty good little piece of equipment, handy just to throw in and out anywhere you need to go. You know, it only weighs 9 kilos. So this has also got the ability to charge up. So in the back we've also got a solar input that we can plug solar panels in. So when we're away, you know, when we're out on the islands camped up, we plug our solar panels in, charge this thing back up. It'll still show you your input as well up the top. So at the moment we've got 0 input, but if we plug in solar or plug it into the 240, it'll charge that back up, tell us what we've got running back in there as well. So recharge on this thing is about 4 to 5 hours from 20% or flat. So you know, 4 hours plugged into 240 is really not too bad. It's obviously going to take a little bit longer with your solar panels depending on the quality of your solar panel. The only other thing about these battery packs are they're interlinkable, so you can actually plug this to another one and power twice as much. So instead of having 1,000 watt, you can have 2,000 watt of inverter. This is one of the smaller models as well, so we've only got the little EB70, but you can go up to the EB200, and then they actually have full house packages as well, so you can run your whole house completely off grid. Gonna drop a link below. We do have a discount code and stuff, guys. Like, these guys reached out to us, right? We haven't engaged with them. They've asked us to do an honest review on this video. That's exactly what we're doing. We're giving an honest review on a product that so far has been really good. It's exactly what we needed. You know, we've never run a battery pack before. We've never really had too much lithium batteries or too much to do with lithium batteries outside of the big boat. So something like this is pretty handy for us just to be able to throw between the little Tinny, the big boat, depending on where we go, you know, throw it in the canopy. Drop a link below. Don't forget, jump on, have a look. Hang around, guys, the next episode is already underway. Heading out with the grommets, crab pot mission, but as always, the drama follows us everywhere we go. Thanks for watching. Does it float?
Yeah.
Does it leak?
No.
We're winning. We're finally on the water. Couple of crab pots, couple of rods, couple of grommets. Let's get this thing on a plane and see what it does.